Okay, so today, right, we will discuss on the various templates that are available in a testing cycle. So right from how we get the requirements, and then what are the templates that are used, and then how do we create a test plan or a test strategy, and then how where do we prepare the test cases. Okay, so we'll discuss on the templates today, and we'll take question and answers for again today. Okay, and from Monday we will start the actual process, actual live project. And also today I'll be showing you the application and the test which we will be using for testing. Okay, on a high level glimpse about what the requirement is all about. Okay, so any questions you can interrupt me in the middle, you can just ping me. Okay, I'll just answer them then. So we will start. Okay. So this particular project, we will start with requirement gathering. Okay, and then doing the requirement analysis. Okay, requirement gathering, then requirement analysis, test plan creation, then test cases authoring, creating test data, test execution, and then defect management, defect lifecycle. And last is pre-prod production activities. Okay, this we will do in a I'm assuming that you will align yourself to the waterfall model or or the agile model. So we will understand how do we behave when we follow the waterfall model, and how do we behave when we do the what do you say, agile model. So you should understand that, see, in any of the life cycle STLC model, any of whatever it is, all these phases will be the same, but how do you react if something comes, or if few specific use cases are there? In such situations, how do you react? That only defines what model you are following. That's it. Okay, so don't worry that these activities will be different in different life cycles. Okay, now, so we will start with requirement gathering. So requirement gathering is nothing is on paper till date. Okay, we will be sitting with testers. Testers will not directly sit. The test manager or lead will sit along with business analyst, both from client side as well as a service provider, software service provider. Okay, both will sit. They will start and getting the requirements, and as well as dev manager. It is not compulsion that test manager or lead or dev manager has to be part of this requirement gathering. It is just the client side and the software service provider side BAs will sit and they will start doing the requirement gathering. Font size. Is this okay now? Okay. So it is not compulsion that these roles will sit during the requirement gathering. Okay, but if we go for a agile model, generally the test manager and the dev manager will also sit. Okay, so we call all these parties as stakeholders. Okay, so going forward, if we say stakeholders, we should know these are all the roles that are involved in it. Okay, so even at times, even a test person can also sit. Okay, testers will also sit in the requirement gathering. but 90% it is the leads and the BA from both the sides who will sit in the requirement gathering. Now once you got the requirements, right, this will be broken into pieces. The master requirement is broken into pieces. Okay, so if you have seen my earlier QA manual testing videos, you must have seen this. How do they break the master requirement into sub pieces, and based on that they will define the number of sprints that should be given. So this particular part we may not. It's of what you say little use for us, but as the experience increases, we will have to what you say sit and do this kind of activities also. So okay, for now at this moment we'll just give a high level. How do you break that? And how do you define the life cycles? Okay. Yeah, even the customers are also the stakeholders, but not all customers will be there. Say suppose if you take Facebook or Gmail, end users we are the end users. So we are the customers for Gmail, right? So, but not all will be involved. Okay. In the initial stage, someone from the client side itself who knows something about the requirement, they will act as that customers. Okay. Now say suppose master requirement 1 is broken into requirement 1, requirement 2, requirement 3. One second. Yeah, sorry. So this one divided into R4. Okay, so R1 will be done in release 1, R2 will be taken care in release 2. Okay, this will be taken in release 2, this 3 and this 4. So this is how they divide the master requirement into sub requirements, and they will say this release or sprint they will handle this particular requirement. Okay, so this is how the real time will look like when the master requirement is. So now we will align ourselves to the project we want to do now. Okay, so this is the application which I was speaking last in the last class. So TurnWave. Okay, so this is the application which is used to communicate between, which will be used to communicate between the trainers, trainees, as well as the administrators. Okay, so the master requirement is. I'll take another notepad. Wait a second. So the master requirement is I need an app which will be used for communicating between trainers and trainees. Okay, so this is the master requirement. Now the BAs and the dev manager, test manager, they sat and they started doing the high level analysis. So what should be there in the app? So they will say that it should have a login page. This should be the landing page. So we call it as landing page. Okay. So the landing page should have TurnWave name and its tagline with the icon. It should have company name, then icon slash tagline and a login button. The background should be in black and mosaic. something like that. Okay. A tagline is something the caption to the company. Okay. This is the one. Turn with smart and easy communication system. So this is how the landing page should be. And once they'll term this as requirement one. Okay. So this they'll term it as requirement one. Again, see, when we do from Monday, right, we will not do in this abstract way. Just for your information for today, I'm showing you how exactly the requirements will be broken. But from Monday, when we do the actual project, we will have a requirement document or the SRS standard templates. So we'll give the requirement in the standard templates and you will analyze it from there on. Okay. So this is the first which I was discussing, the requirement gathering stage. Okay, but just for an understanding, we will be discussing this. Now, then second requirement will be requirement 2 will be the login page. Login page. Okay. So in the login page, when I click on login, it should have again turn wave smart and the tagline on the left side. It should have. It should be a two blocks page, left and right pane, with left and right pane. In the left pane, we should have, it should have company name, icon and tagline. In the right pane, it should have login as a text box, login as a text message, and username and password as text box. Okay, and then you should have login button. So this is how they have created. So this is what they give as a high level requirement. No, no, no. We don't write down the requirements. See, this is what, that's the reason I didn't want to get confused. So in the initial phase, before the testers, as a tester we are involved, someone should get the complete requirements, right? Someone should get a high level requirement based on which test managers, dev managers and BA will do the billing. They will start billing how much will be the effort, total effort. They will do the high level estimations. They will prepare an estimation document. So for this requirement, how many hours of development effort is required? What is the testing effort that is required? So how do we communicate? What is the mode of looking the efforts? Where do you track the efforts? So all this should be known. So when I know a high level requirement, then only I can do it, right? So this is more on the management level. So that's the reason for us going forward, we will also be moving to that role, right? So we should understand how do we do that. Okay. So that's the reason I'm just giving a glimpse on it. Okay, so Sindhuja is asking what is a high level requirement. So say suppose a simple example is you want to buy a phone. So that's your high level. Your high level requirement will be it should have an 8 megapixel camera as a front one and the back one as an at least 13 megapixel. It should be a 2 GB RAM. It should have Android latest version, so on. So that is your high level requirement. When you start detailing it, right, you will see it should be of Samsung brand. It should have at least a metallic one. So once you start using the phone, you will know all the detailed requirements in it. Hope you got the point, right? So high level requirement is you need a phone with a dual SIM or something like that, and with the latest Android phone and having high level specifications. Okay. So this is how a high level requirement is given. Now from here we will do the requirement analysis. Okay. So this part we will start doing from Monday, but for having a brief idea about this application, I just marked down two of the high level requirements. Okay. So this I'll create it as a requirement document 1, this as a requirement document 2. Okay. This will be covered under sprint 1 or release 1, and this particular requirement will be covered under release 2 or sprint 2. Okay. Now, once this particular piece of code is developed, then they'll start with this particular piece of code. If you find any issues here, it may be fixed in sprint 2 or in the same release. Okay. And if it is fixed in the same release, we will do the retesting. If it is fixed in this next release, we do the regression testing. And there is a scope of integration testing here. Once sprint 1 is completed, when you do sprint 2, it is related to sprint 1, so we will do the reintegration testing. So the end-to-end testing, you will have an understanding at the end of this session. Okay. How do you do sanity test? How do you do the high level or smoke test? Okay. What is the difference between retesting and regression testing? So you will have a complete picture at the end of the session. Okay. So this is requirement gathering, and then is the requirement analysis. And once you started analyzing the requirement 1, right? You will have to create the test plan. So this is the test requirement analysis for sprint 1. And once you did it, you'll have to create test plan for it. So you will create only for this. Then you will start writing the test cases. And if any test data is required for this, you will create them. So that's how the flow goes on. Okay. Any questions so far? So far so good. Okay, what will they do in requirement analysis? So this is what we will do it from one day session actually. But then again, so for a high level understanding for you, now I said requirement 1 is the application should have the company name, icon and tagline and a login button. Okay, this is the requirement. So from testing perspective, first and foremost question I ask is, where do I see this landing page? Okay, so what will be the URL for it? So this would be, so they didn't mention the URL, right? So we'll be asking what is the URL for this. Okay, and then what are all the browsers that are supporting this particular application? Okay, there will be few browsers which will not be what do you say, working fine, or some versions of Internet Explorer or Mozilla will not work. So the latest version will only work on this for this application. Okay, and whether it's an app or it's just a web application. Okay. Okay, and then do we have a different URL for the admin level access, if he's an admin or something, or like if he's a trainer, what would be a URL? So there may be a chance that there we will have different URLs for different logins. Okay, hope you got it. So this is how this is what you do in the requirement analysis. Okay. So Arun is asking from the end-to-end testing for requirement 1 do we do, yes, this is the black box testing, right? Black box testing is nothing but functional testing or the UI level. So you are not testing the code here, you are testing what you are seeing in the front end. This is completely black box testing, okay? Uh, John C is asking, are we going to test it in multiple browsers? Ideally, we should do it on multiple browsers, okay? This is called as cross-browser testing. This particular type of testing is called as cross-browser testing. So this is while testing, you have to come up with this option. I mean, you should come up. How do you do this? Okay. But ideally, during this live project, we will be focusing more on Chrome and Mozilla. Okay. What is the difference between normal software testing cycle and agile? Sarika, I would recommend you to go through the manual testing videos which we have already shared. We gave a detailed description about it. But on a high level, right? Agile is something like you are flexible to do things at any point of time. So you are ready to go back and revisit your test strategy or test cases or requirement, come up with the changes as and when required. So simple example is you take Nokia. Nokia was not interested to come into smartphone for a section because they had their own way of doing it, but they lost the what do you say, they lost the battle of smartphones because they don't want to upgrade it to next level. So that is what happens in even in waterfall or the other models for whichever we follow. So you create a set of requirement, you stick to it till the end, till the release is completed. But what if the world is so fast and you have changes in the requirement? So okay, in those models you will not be more flexible to change it. You will have to take a lot of time. The entire code has to be revisited. There will be a lot of changes. But in Agile, right, when you break the complete requirement into small user stories, so it is like step by step you're going. Small steps, not even a giant step also. So small step. Generally, other life cycles will be a 1, 2 months, 2 to 3 months of gap will be there for at least new requirement to come into the life. But then here, every 15 days, you will get a new patch. Just like in Android or iPhone, you will get the system updates every now and then, right? So you will generally refresh it. That's because they will add small requirements at a go. They'll not go with the complete requirement. So that's the uh, typical difference between the normal testing cycle and agile. So Suma, the test data will not be given. It is you have to do it. We will just guide you how to create it. Okay. Sanjay, you had a dot? Okay. Uh, now, now, see, if you see typical, what do you say, the model of communication will be generally in offshore, onshore model will be there. So the client will be sitting somewhere else, say somewhere in US, and the testing or the development team sits in offshore, maybe a different part of US or in India or any other location. One second. Amin is asking, is SQL required for testing? Uh, okay, so that is what is it? The understanding should be there when you create the requirements. So there will be few places where there will be an interaction with the database, and obviously any web application will be interacting with database. Okay, so now if you see. this particular application, when I click on login, I'll give some username and password, right? So this username should be present in the database, and only I will be able to log in, right? So how does it making sure that it is a valid login and I'm going to the landing page? Because it will interact with the database and find out whether that particular username is or not. So in that situation, you need to write your SQLs. Okay. Hope it answered your question. Okay. So where, yeah. So now I was on the communication model. So we have the typical onshore offshore model, right? So how do we communicate? So that really creates a problem. So generally we use the test management tools like Jira. This is how the Jira tool looks like, or HPALM. Okay. So 1 second. Communication mode. So usually we use emails as communication model, but all the while this is not standard, because going forward if any issue comes, right, we cannot show emails as a standard way of communication. So that is where we got the test management tools. Okay, where all the requirements slash test plan slash test cases slash test results slash defects and closure documents are stored. Okay, so everything will be signed off, everything will be documented, and you will have some sort of proof for every activity that we are doing. Okay, so there are multiple test management tools in the market. HPALM is one, and then Oats from Oracle. Then we have Jira, and then there are many tools like Bugzilla, okay, etc. So for this live project, as we will not be able to use any of these test management tools, we will use Excel sheets as communication model through Google Docs. Okay. So this is the effective way as of now to do, because there are large number of people, and creating login credentials for all will take some time, and it's a time taking process also. Active maintenance will create a problem. So we will use Excel sheet as a communication model, and Google Docs for sharing the requirements, requirement analysis questions, the RCL logs where we post the questions, and then test cases, test plan, and defects will be posted in the respective flat files, either Excel sheet or a Word document. Okay. But for the benefit of doubt, at this point, I'll show you how do we see the requirements in Jira. Okay. So this is the tool where I log into the application, Jira application, and if you see, these are all requirements. Okay. So I'll take one simple one requirement. So when I open it, it will have the person who opened this requirement, okay, and this is the person, he is a BA for us, okay, he is the one who will be primarily responsible for the entire activities, end-to-end activities. So he will assign it to the respective developer. So if you, so there's this section, first we'll see the requirement. So this is the requirement name, okay, and whether it is what is the type, whether it's a task or a new requirement. This is all what do you say, client specific, so they will have their own names. So this is a task or a new requirement, or whether it's an production bug, okay, or whether it's an enhancement. So depending on that, they will mention the task, what would be the priority of the task. So you have a list of tasks here already, right? So there should be some priority, which one should be completed first. So you will mention it here, major. Major means it should be done immediately. All these definitions will be mentioned to you when you start the project. So major means it should be completed within a week. Minor means you can take at least 3 weeks of time to resolve it. And intermediate means it should be done before 2 weeks. This is our company standard. But it all depends on your whichever project you are working on. Resolution. So this ticket is completed, so that's the reason it is the resolution is completed. But the other status will be open. Will be the requirement has just arrived. You have to start working on it. Waiting for triage means your environment is not ready. Fixed. Fixed means if it's a defect, you have fixed it, then you mark it as fixed. Won't fix means this requirement is not correct. I mean, we cannot do it. So it is won't fix. So these are all the status or the resolution types for your particular requirement. Okay. And there's some section called as environment. So environment is nothing but you have a production environment where this fix should directly go, or you first develop it in your development environment, or you first develop it in your QA environment. So in general, there will be minimum three environments in any project. One is dev environment, where the developers develop the code. The other will be the QA environment, where the code that is developed from the developers will be copied into QA environment, where testers will do the testing. Ideally, both the environments will be similar. Okay, and then once the testing activity is done, it will go into UAT, user acceptance testing, and from there it will go into the production. Okay, so three environments will be there before anything goes into production. Ideally, okay. Now, if you see the requirement, it is given in the, so we call it SRS document or BRD document as MT50. So you will have it as an attachment here. Okay. Now, if you click on it, the requirement document opens. Okay, and this is where you will see the entire requirement. So this these templates we will share with you after this session. Okay, but just for your information, this is how you see the requirements. So the business purpose of the requirement will be mentioned. So for our current project turn wave, right, we will have the same level. So we will create the same type of document and we will share with you. Okay. So on Monday, when I share this document, I will give you the glimpse of all the data elements that are present here. What is the significance of each heading here in the requirement? Okay. So by looking into that you will start doing the requirement analysis. Okay. Or when we meet on back on Monday, then you come up with your questions and your understanding on the requirement. And any questions you just post it on the RCA document. So this is the requirement. Once you get the requirement, you do the requirement analysis and you will create your questionnaire. So in our current project, we don't have a separate RCL document. Okay, so we post our questions here itself. So if you see, so we will ask the questions, the respective client or the developer will post their questions. Okay, so this is how the series of activities go on. Okay, so that's how we have a written proof of whatever activities we have done. Okay. This is on a high level how the entire process looks like. So once it is developed by the developer, so if I'll show you the activity so that you will understand clearly. Meenal is asking the document you showed us is for requirement analysis. The document I showed is the requirement document, which by studying that requirement document, right, you will have questions on the requirement, right? So that is requirement analysis. You will try to analyze what is the client is looking all about. Okay. Analysis is something done from our end. The document says this is the requirement. You tell me if you have any questions. What did you understand? Did you understand the flow or not? Okay. So that is your requirement analysis. So if you see, Luda is the client side. She created she uploaded the requirement, and she assigned it to the respective client side BA. He assigned it to the service provider side, so our side BA, and he assigned it to the respective developer. Okay. As this particular developer was not available during that time, he assigned it back to the other developer. And he did some questions, he asked some questions, he created some questionnaire unit test document and then assigned it back to client side BA. He gave some answers to the questions, and our side BA has also answered, and it was assigned for me to testing. Okay, so I tested it and gave my observations or defects whichever I found, and I tested. This was assigned to another developer because the earlier developer was not available for clearing the questions because he was on vacation. So he took it from him. He fixed it. Again, he assigned it back. He fixed it. He then assigned it back to BA. BA again answered few questions which were we are having some doubts on the questions. So few observations were not agreed between me and developer. So BA pitched in and he answered few questions. So based on those answers, developer has fixed. I have retested it and assign it back to the client. So this is how typically a flow goes on. Okay. So you will understand it when we do the actual project. At this point, you may not, you may get confused or you may be feeling that we are in a no man's land. But when you do the actual project, you will understand this exact flow. Okay. So if you see, right, what is this doing, this test management tool? This is helping us to track the entire effort of this particular requirement, both from the developer's perspective and the QA perspective also. Okay, and it is giving us a glimpse on when did it start and when was it resolved, what is the duration, what is the time it took. Okay, it almost took 1.5 months to complete this requirement. Okay. So this, when you do the retrospection or the analysis after the release of this project or product, you will say, hey, when I did my test plan, I said that I need only 10 days of testing. But when actual effort was almost 1.5 months. So when you do the introspection or the root cause analysis, you will say that, hey, I didn't do the test planning correctly. So for the next time, if the same type of requirement comes, I should increase the number of days for testing. Okay. So all this will come with more experience. So at this point, you try to analyze it. How do you do it? How do we go forward doing any type of testing? Okay. Any questions so far? This particular project is 15 days sprint actually. So the advantage of this agile is this. So I actually coined this as a 15 days this thing, but I couldn't do the complete requirement. So what I will do is I will release the project with whatever minimum features that I have done, if it is agreed upon with the customer. If not, I'll postpone it to the next sprint. So that sort of agileness, or what do you say, flexibility will be there with this particular thing. Okay. It's just like this. You don't want to set high expectations. You set little expectations you club them all to make it a bigger requirement, so that at the end of the day, the major requirement, major functionality is working. If you take the other methods, right, you set higher expectations, and if something goes in the middle, the entire project is lost, right? The reputation also goes. But here, what it is doing, the the bigger requirement is broken into small pieces, and you are doing it step by step, story wise. Okay. Any questions so far? So there is something test plan document which I was speaking, right? This is the test plan document, and the test case template. So this we will be sharing with you, and as and when we do the live project, right? First we will start with requirement analysis, then with test plan or test strategy. During that phase, I'll let you know what is there in the document, so that you go back, you work on the actual project requirement, and you create your own test plan. Okay, and then when we do the test case, we'll do this. Yes, Sarika, you had a question? Okay. This product will be like agile method. Uh, yes, we will be doing it like an agile method itself. But first we will start with waterfall. I want to showcase the difference between waterfall or V model with respect to agile actually. So we'll start with waterfall model. Okay. Then we will understand if we'll come up with a use case where we have to completely revamp the entire requirement. So how do you react? What are the losses? How does the entire system, how the developers react, how the testers react, how a test manager react, how a BA react for that particular use case. Okay. Then if the same issue comes in Agile, how do we react? And what is the minimal effect on the complete project? Okay, just wanted to showcase that. Sherman, after this call, we will share you the Google Drive where we will keep these documents. Okay. The test plan will be done after every requirement analysis. Every requirement you do the requirement analysis, right? After you complete the requirement analysis, you should do the test plan. Sindhuja, I'm safely assuming that you went through the videos which we have already shared on manual testing. Okay. So once you do the requirement analysis, then you will do the test plan. Again, for just for the information, test plan is something which will tell you how do you test, when do you test, how do you start the test, and when do you stop the testing. Okay, and where do you test, the limitations, the pros and cons, known issues. These things you will mention in the test plan. Okay. Uh, Najmul is asking, we'll be testing it in phases. See, we have only 2 weeks of time to discuss this, right? But after this 2 weeks, you will be continuing your testing. You will do the complete application testing. Okay. And for normal tester, it will take 1 month to do the complete testing. So this 2 weeks is just like guiding you how to do the entire process. After that, you will be continuing the testing. You will give me an updates, but by the end of 1 month, whatever is the update or whatever documents you share, right? We will be reviewing that, and we will give you a feedback. Okay. You will be doing it the complete one, but for the first 2 weeks, we will be guiding you how to do it. Okay. Yeah, Anil, this is used by ITeLearn. This is our product actually. Okay. So I mean, test cycle for a sprint is the same. That's what I'm saying, right? Whatever is the word you use, so you will have the same requirement analysis for each release or sprint, okay? And then you create test plan, you write your test cases, have a test data ready for it, you execute it, you find defects, how do you, what is the defect life cycle? So you raised it, someone fixed it, you retested it, you found again an issue, you raised a defect, or you reopened the defect, developer fixes, and you retest it. And that goes to production, okay? And how do you communicate? How do you do the pre-production activities? So whatever is the term, whether it's a release or sprint, the same testing cycle will be there. As I said earlier, right? The same. Okay. Sakshi, from Monday it's a paid sessions. That's the reason we will be doing it from Monday. Today these two sessions are more like giving a glimpse on what is this training all about, and what would you expect us, what will be the expectations from us. Okay, we just want to set that expectations. So the actual requirements we'll share it from Monday only. Okay. So this is it for today. So from Monday, right? I'll share you the requirement. I'll share you the document. Today we'll be sharing you the templates. On Monday we'll share the exact requirement document, and I'll create. We'll divide the teams also based on the number of people who will be joining for live training, live project, and based on the time zones, we'll split them. And also we'll be creating the requirement clarification log document. So that is for just for requirement analysis. We'll go step by step. Okay. Documents we'll share today itself. It will be shared in the Google Drive. Okay. I mean, there's no coding required for manual testing. Okay. It's just when you start doing the automation, right? Then also it's minimal coding. If you are interested in automation, then only coding is required. For this, you don't require any coding. Okay. But the world is changing. We should also learn automation also. There's a lot of demand. There's a lot of pressure on the manual testers to learn automation also. Yes, so sorry, Harini, I should have mentioned it prior to the start. So from Monday, right, it would be 5 a.m., 5, what do you say? 5 p.m., 5:30 p.m. PST. One second, I just reconfirm it. Yeah, so 5 p.m. PST. So it would be, I think, 5:30, so 7 o'clock CST, I think. Harni, I'm very bad on this timings. 8 EST. Yeah. So that's fine for you, right? Okay. Yeah, John, see, we'll have it only on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays because we want you to practice it. Yeah, Meenal, you will get the drive details through email itself. Sanjay, which time zone are you in? Again, I just wanted to reiterate, this 1 hour session, right? It is more of answering your questions. It is you along with your team, you will coordinate and do the work actually. Oops, 10 a.m. CST. No, we are talking about 8 p.m., right? 5 p.m. I'm sorry, 5 p.m. PST to CST. It's 7 p.m. CST for you, right? Yeah, it's 7 CST, 7 p.m. your time. We are talking about you evening times, Sanjay. Yeah, Sarika, you'll be getting the access actually. So there are three levels of login. One is the trainer level login. The other one will be the admin level login, and the other one will be trainee level logins. So three types of credentials will be there. So you'll be testing in three modes. Okay. So any other questions? Don't worry. We will do it in a step by step. So end of this session, you will feel comfortable that we have done something good. Okay. Yeah. So meanwhile, you will be receiving it. From Monday, the class will be from 5 p.m. PST. Okay. We are sorry, Sanjay. We don't have any this thing. But again, just for your information, this session is more on Q&A session actually. Um, but the actual work you will be doing it in your daytime itself, right? You will be coordinating with your team, respective team. We'll figure it out, Sanjay. We will have an offline discussion if needed. Okay. John C. Yes, you will be getting different levels of access. You have to do the complete testing, right? That's the actual requirement all about. You'll get all the three credentials. Okay, any other questions? Okay, so yes, Madhavi. As and when you do, you update it, right? So the generally this requirements which we have broken up, it is one day is enough to write. You do the requirement analysis. 1 day is enough to write the test cases. So strategically, we have given 1 day difference just because of that. So I think 1 day is enough. And you will be updating it in the respective Google Drive folder. We'll create it based on the numbers we get. We'll divide into teams based on your. We'll make sure that you all will be on the same time zone. Okay, the entire team. So based on that, we will give you the folder and you will update the details there, whatever your effort is. One day of effort is required for each requirement. Okay, that's the reason we are dividing into minimum of 3 sprints. After that, right, the what do you say? We'll give you the master. See, this particular app is having 6 pages actually. This particular application, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 requirements are there. So you will read 6 days for requirement analysis, 6 days for test case creation, 6 days for test execution, and 4 to 5 days for doing the defect and what is it, the other pre-closure activities. So there are 18 plus 5, 23 to 25 days is enough to do the complete application testing. Okay. No, 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 Sherwin, we'll not, we'll make sure that it will not be on the same time. So if you, are you joining the automation also? I mean, this will be 2 weeks course only. I mean, first 2 weeks we'll be guiding you how to do it. We'll answer your questions. Okay. After that, we will review your this thing, but it will not be a common session for all. It will be on one-to-one, team-to-team basis. That's it. Okay. First 2 weeks will be the complete. We will monitor your activities. After that, it's up to you who will do the complete testing. See, the main intention of this training is to give an idea about the actual project, how will you do an actual project. So 2 weeks of activities will give you a complete idea. It is up to you if you want to do the complete application testing. You can carry forward. I mean, you can carry forward, or you can stop then and there itself. But ideally, we suggest you do the complete testing. Okay. Sharmin, that's the reason we have made it to 5:30. Okay. Again, I just wanted to reiterate, this 1 hour session is more of answering your questions and guiding you. That's it. The entire activity will be done during your time, during your day. Okay. You will have to coordinate with the team. As we give you the names, the email IDs, you will have to coordinate among yourself, and you do the requirement analysis, come up with the questions, you write your test cases, discuss among yourself, and then give the final test case document to us. We will review it, and then if any additions, deletions are to be done, we will just guide you there. Okay. I mean, there's no requirement of education for this. It's just your logical or your what you say scanning capability. That's it. I know many who are not even graduates who are working as testers. Okay, so any other questions? Okay, so we are good to go, right then? Thank you all for joining the session. We'll meet you back on Monday. Okay, and any questions, right? You can mail me anytime. We'll be happy to answer this. Okay. Thank you all. Good night and good day.